Okay, hi fam, welcome to the internets. Welcome to the internets. Okay. Hi everybody, hi internets. My name's Bailey, and this is Marching into Madness. We're gonna have an intro for you soon, so I don't gotta stumble through this, but right now, I'm here with my wonderful partner in crime, Raza Malik. Say hi, Raza.
Hey, it's Raza Malik. Say hi, Raza Malik.
And we got Wine Mom to help, like, whip us back into shape because, yeah, we tend to have an attention span of a goldfish. So say hi, Wine Mom.
Hello.
Okay. So today, this is our episode of Same Shit Different Day. That's the part I missed off the jump. Today, we're going to discuss a couple pop culture things. We're starting to add like more structure to this. So we got two topics for you to start off with. Today, we want to talk about all the movie remakes because Hollywood sucks and I'm getting bored. And then for you Twitch lovers, we're going to talk about xQc and some of the drama against the IOC because I even warned before that the IOC sucks. But let's ignore that. Start
Bailey,
us off.
don't say that. Don't say that, Bailey. Don't say that. You're canceled, Bailey. Don't say that.
I was quoting a headline. That's it. That's it. But what movie remake grinds your gears, Raza?
It's two letters. I and T.
Oh.
It.
Oh.
Part 2, specifically.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys show a little more enthusiasm.
No, I have opinions. I have opinions about remakes. I was literally complaining about this to my mom over the weekend, but go ahead and...
Okay, and I'm a sci-fi geek, so I wasn't there yet. It makes sense. I just didn't consider it at all. Go.
Okay, so, like, it's, like, the movie, okay, so the 2000 and, like, the new one that came out, like, it's cool that it's happening, but we're getting to the point where, like, now we need to make things based off original IPs and stuff, and, like, now we're like, because It Part 2, is there a book It Part 2? No, right? So like, so the entire thing, when I saw the movie, it was less scary because it didn't really grab the fear that the book and the movie brought, and I was just like, that's kind of like Hollywood
the original movie you're talking about.
No, like the one that just came out, like it, like the first It came out like not too long ago, like 2016 or 17. But when I saw It Part 2, I'm thinking they're just looking for ways to make money off of this franchise because one is not enough, and it's just the same thing of what they did to the Hobbit, because Hobbit's the shortest book in the 4 Lord of the Rings thing, right? But they made it into 3 bloody parts because they can get money from 3 movies. So that is why I didn't like It Part 2, is because it's just trying to capitalize on the success of the first one, and we didn't really need to have a part 2 because the ending of the first one just said, hey, this is it, this is how it's supposed to do. So
because to keep it in the same genre, didn't they just do that with like Poltergeist in The Conjuring, where they like remade the original movie and then they started making some BS add-ons afterwards?
Is there a Poltergeist remake?
I thought there was a Poltergeist remake, but I could be out of pocket. Either way, continue the conversation going then, since I'm not sure. I do feel very similar because that's kind of what's going on with Star Wars. To use the buzzworthy one, right? You try to recreate the vibes of the original, and then you just start you're going way too wacky.
It's like you're trying to build up these franchises to stay with the time, when they can work, but like you have to like understand that certain themes will go with certain, like, the modern day world. So like, I don't know. It's just I don't know. A lot of these remakes are incompatible with the 21st century.
Right.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so I was talking about this with my mom because we were just talking about remakes because I mentioned a movie to my mom and she was like, "Oh yeah, I watched that like when I was a kid." And I was like, "No, mom, it's new." I can't remember what the movie was, but I don't know if it's that our current generation is just really fucking lazy or really nostalgic that we just keep remaking things from our childhood. Because we're coming out with a new Rugrats movie, if I'm correct or wrong. I know
No, we're not.
there's a new
No, we're
yeah.
not.
Yeah,
You're
there's a
lying
new
to me.
video game. Yeah, there's a new video game movie coming out. We've tried Ghostbusters, we've done Jumanji, we've done um Jurassic Park, you know,
Yep.
and then again we've done it. Like we keep redoing these movies, and I feel like why are we touching something that doesn't need to be touched anymore? If you're no longer adding to the franchise, like you're just bumming me out, right? Um, and I really do think that our generation, like '90s kids, I think we're just so nostalgic for the '90s and for that time in our life because I think that our generation of people never really got the chance to be kids because of the way that the economy in the world was. We were kind of forced to grow up a lot faster.
Yeah.
And so that's why people who have the power to make these movies now, or the demand, is to keep remaking these movies, which I don't understand. Like, let's get something new, something fun, something exciting. Like, let's change it up.
It
I
is a
think
little bit of
this-
both. I'll let Raza go first, though. Sorry to cut you off. Go.
So this is a small like point, but I think this is like the aftermath or like an impact of what Marvel did.
Yes.
So because people saw, oh, let's bring these characters to life, these old school characters. Our parents can be like find this relatable because it was created when they were kids, and everybody saw other franchises like as you said, like Jumanji and stuff like that. People are like, okay, it worked for Marvel. Let's try it for other properties. Let's see what happens. Ninja Turtles, Transformers, all that stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Because the business reason, the real business reason behind it is, right, they keep pumping out the remakes because you've got a guaranteed audience.
Yes.
I have to take a risk on a new creative property. Like, and even think about kids' movies, right? Like, you had to have an established franchise for the kids' tales to work. They did the Mortal Engines and it shat the tank. They did all these, like, tween novels that maybe didn't have something behind it first. The only one that worked was the Hunger Games, but there's been divergence and this and that. But you know what? If we pump out a fucking remake of whatever, of Dune, the parents will drag their kids out.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Well, that's
Dune looks good though.
Yeah, but that's the big thing though, right? Because we're looking at things that were popular when we were kids and going like, okay, first of all, we have the guarantee audience of the nostalgic people who are going to go back because they want to see it redone or whatever, which I think is just shitty because you have unrealistic expectations because you think that they're just making your favorite movie better, but really they're just putting in a bunch of bullshit. So you have this idea in your mind, and then you take your kids because you're like, I want you to see this like nostalgic thing from my childhood, and then it's not even anything like what we thought it was. So like initially they do really well, but then in the long run, like the fandom starts to deteriorate. Which it's so weird for me to say this because in the same breath, as much as I hate remakes, like I didn't watch the new Ghostbusters, the one that they came out with, because I was like, you're not gonna ruin that for me. I have memories from when I was a child watching the original one. I don't want that ruined. Same with Jumanji, but like they're going to be remaking the movie Candyman. I know I've talked about it with you guys before. Yeah. I'm super fucking excited for that to come.
Is that I could quite live clarification. Is that a remake or is it a continuation? I thought it was a continuation.
It's not necessarily a remake. It is a continuation, but there has been some rumors about like overlaps and stuff like that. But it's kind of the same thing with The Shining because we have The Shining and then we have Dr. Sleep, and everybody was like, everyone was trying to boycott Dr. Sleep. They're like, this is so dumb. Why are we doing this? We already have The Shining, and it's like, obviously you guys don't know the story. Like, this is not The Shining that we're getting. Like, this is a continuation of like an adult Danny. So like, relax. and you enjoy what it is, right? But for me, I feel like that's a natural progression. You have a movie series that's popular when you're a kid, and then you remake it. Just like Blade Runner, we had the original Blade Runner, and then we had the new one that they just did, the 2024 one they did with Ryan Gosling. And that movie was amazing. I've not watched the original one, but you can see, like, because they have so many like nods to the previous movie, that it's obvious that they're not remaking the same movie. They're retelling a story. Like, they're telling a story, but in a new way, but still giving nods to a previous franchise or movie.
And in a very direct way, though, like that Blade Runner movie specifically is part of the reasons why they just got lazy again. Because they tried it. And I agree it was good. I really liked it. But that Blade Runner movie, unfortunately, didn't sell that well in the box office.
It didn't, yeah.
Right?
It was a critical, like, it was critically acclaimed, but a box office flop, which goes to show that, like,
because they put a lot of fucking money into that one. That was one of the movies that they were like, oh, maybe we don't continue and we just try to keep doing the same bullshit.
which hurts me, because like, Blade Runner works for a continuation, because like, now we are not in 20, like, okay, the first movie is based in 2015. Now we're in present time, and now you can continue on going with modern day themes and modern day like bullshit and stuff. So, well, like, that stuff works, but like, in stuff for, like, you know, It Part 2, freaking the Clifford movie that we're getting.
Oh my gosh, I don't want that at all.
No, I agree.
I don't want it at all. I don't want it at all.
It looks like a big.
It looks so stupid. I can't even.
It looks so dumb. Yeah, like when a filmmaker puts their heart and soul into like a remake, which is kind of funny. We get a Blade Runner 2049, right? But then when we say, oh, let's make this for the sake of nostalgia, then we get a fucking
Clifford.
Yeah.
No, we get a Clifford.
Or Clifford, yeah.
I mean, I think the continuation, like the It movies, the only thing that I can give them for the It movies is that the casting of the clown, immaculate, perfect, great. They're so good at casting that character. But it's like, what did you bring to this story? Because you had, and this is something that makes me so like fucking angry, is like, you have an amazing opportunity to create something new and exciting with new actors and actresses that are extremely talented and that could add great value to this franchise, and you choose to like fall flat and do a part 2. I'm like, what? And
a part 2 that barely makes any sense and stuff. Like,
right.
It just I don't know. It didn't
work
for me.
I was on stream with Raza on Friday, and we were talking about Ghostbusters 2. The original Ghost, like that. Sorry, not the original. The first remake of the Ghostbusters, where they did the gender swap, right?
Yeah.
What makes me sad about it is because they try these like new woke approaches, which I applaud, but at the same time, if you're literally doing it lazily, if you're just flipping the script, if you're like, oh well, yeah, I guess they're all women, like, you're defeating the purpose of like changing the story in itself, right? The whole point of like diversification is so you don't think about it. Like when I was talking about WandaVision, you're not acknowledging like, wow, this scene's full of black characters. It's just part of the story, right? So with these remakes, that's what's also driving me nuts, because it's like this forced hand of like, look, we took all these characters and like, oh, you liked Blade Runner? Well, we got Jared Leto as the bad guy now. It's like,
we'll see.
Do something,
That's a big thing with the Ghostbusters movies. I didn't watch it. I heard a lot about it, and a lot of people have kind of like spoiled it in a way for me, because I've been made it clear I'm not going to watch it. But when I think of the Ghostbusters, like, all those male actors, they did amazing. Like that was amazing for the time that movie came out. And then when they remade it, they just literally took, from what I know, they took the male characters and turned them into female characters, and then they took the secretary and turned it into a male character. And for me, I feel like you really dropped the ball and missed the whole point by flipping those roles, because what you could have done is take a character from the original movie who was used sort of as like, you know, the woman, like the default woman character, maybe make her a stronger character, and maybe continue to keep men as the main characters and give her a stronger character role, because that would have connected more with people who were nostalgic over the movie. But now, thanks to that flop, the son of the director is redoing it properly, like doing a continuation of it properly. Yeah.
And like I always tell, I'm gonna pause my game because this is a good point. I always tell Bailey this, but like, if you're gonna do a gender swap thing, make it its own thing. Like it did, like for example, Birds of Prey, that DC movie, Harley Quinn that came out last summer, I believe. It didn't do well because it was trying to be like the female version of Suicide Squad. If you're gonna be like that, then just make a Suicide Squad and stuff. Just say, here's an all-woman Suicide Squad, right? But if you're gonna have, okay, I'm gonna gender swap it, right? But now I'm gonna add this theme. I'm gonna add this story element. I'm gonna add this stuff to it. I'm gonna change up, because that remake of Ghostbusters, from what I gather, it's the same movie. But now it's just Chris Hemsworth instead of Sigourney Weaver and the girls from SNL or that. So it doesn't really. And then they are now, like they're still talking about the stereotypes. Like they're still doing the stereotypes. They're still sexualizing Chris Hemsworth. Nothing has changed.
Exactly. And it's like what you could have done, because I think that movie, I shouldn't say this because it's not good to say, but I feel like that movie was like a very much like a feminist message. Like they were really trying to push a feminist message, which is like, you know, and the equality of like a female character being mistreated in the first movie. So now that we've remade the movie, now the male character is going to be in that position. And it's like, okay,
which
cool.
is so stupid. Yeah.
Right. Like,
you
okay, cool.
Nothing.
Right. I get what you're trying to say. I get what your whole like image is here. But you could have literally just made it that the main characters had children and they are now living in a modern era, because that's more connectable for someone in my group who grew up watching that movie and looking at those characters as like dad characters and then seeing them become parents and then have children. Like that would have been a much better flow, I think, in my opinion.
No, I agree. Well, and to add to that is like the other thing that I thought was wild is like somehow the remake would seem way more stereotyping and racist than the first one.
Right.
Like the original like black character of the Ghostbusters is at least like they didn't like emphasize how he wasn't as intelligent as the others. Like this whole time, the poor SNL actor is like that female actor sitting there and she's constantly getting bombarded with like, oh, well, you know, I'm hip and I'm from Harlem, so I just know these streets. It's like, why can't they also be, why isn't she also a scientist? You know, like why the first one, I'm pretty sure the dude was also like, he wasn't a scientist originally, but he knew as much as them. And this one, they're like, oh no, well, she's not a scientist, but you know, we accept her because she knows these streets. It's like, this is worse. This is way worse.
Exactly. And I feel like all they did was they just highlighted an issue that didn't even exist in the first movie. Like that made, you know, and it's funny because I forgot all about her role in that movie, because that's how like, and at that time a huge controversy came out around her and she was extremely abused by just like media for being in that movie. And it's like, how do you guys not see, like how do directors and writers and stuff like, how do you not see where you're failing? And especially the fact that they had the option to contact the original director's son and they were like, fuck it, we're just gonna do our own thing. Like why would you take somebody else's like life work, like literally something that is so pivotal in media and just like in pop culture, and then just pull your pants down and shit all over it and then be like, this is my art, everyone give me credit for my shitty art? No.
Because it sells tickets if it's got a name you recognize, and that's all that matters.
So dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Like, it really, like, it's so dumb. And like I said, like, when they did Doctor Sleep, I don't care what anyone says, that movie for me is at the same level as The Shining. I feel like Doctor Sleep was so well done. The character choices that they made, the direction that they did, you know, the bad guy characters that they chose were just, like, the movie was perfect for me anyways. I loved it. I felt like it was the perfect move from the original story, because I felt I could connect it, and especially because for me, I am a huge Shining fan. We know this. It's not a secret. It's literally my favorite movie ever to have ever existed. So I appreciated that I didn't feel like I was being like blindsided by this weird like part 2 or like remake kind of weirdness. Like, it felt like it makes sense, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't actually. It's not my vibe and my genre, but I read that the general consensus does agree with you there.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one outlier, and then we're gonna move on to the second topic. The one that is an outlier in this,
outlier too.
I always trip out.
2 outliers.
Okay, the one that I trip out that worked is the fucking Planet of the Apes remakes. I always don't get. I never really liked them that much. I didn't think they were that cool, but somehow everyone applauds them. Yeah, everyone thinks it's the most fantastic thing. Like, Jesus, that's the one I don't like, and I think that's set part of the cornerstone of, like, this is possible, because they made a whole trilogy. James Franco did his James Franco thing, and it sold a bunch of fucking money, right?
Owen Wilson gets thrown in. No, not Owen Wilson.
I didn't care for that very much, that movie series.
Like, War of the Planet of the Apes is... I didn't expect it to be that good. So I was like, goddamn.
I think it's because the original one didn't have that much hype to begin with. Like, if somebody was to come out today and like redo the movie, like specifically to redo The Shining, if somebody came out today and they were going to redo The Shining and try and recast Jack Nicholson now, good fucking luck. It's not going to happen. No one's going to receive it well. It's not going to fit for the time that it is. Like, you cannot replace those actors and actresses. It's not going to work. But I guess maybe Planet of the Apes, because it's you're connecting to the ape character and not so much the person that was playing. Right. It was much easier to work with. But this is a trend with movies. Like, it's the same reason why we have like 12 different Spider-Mans. I will never be able to be okay with that. Like, I can't follow superhero stuff. It's too messy for me because it doesn't make any sense. Like, everybody's making their own version of this superhero movie, and it's like, okay, can you all just agree on one thing so that everyone can actually follow what's happening?
You're
like,
not a Holland fan?
No,
Andrew Garfield fan?
No, you guys know who I like. Okay, it's not a secret. We've talked about it.
This podcast and Spider-Man or no Spider-Man. That's how it works. No, look, the outlier that I have is it's a weird one. It's the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure one, the third one that just came out.
That
apparently
didn't sell
people
well.
love that. It didn't. It was only on VO. It was on everything. It didn't need it to sell well. It was on like VOD and everything. But people, like, from what I gather, people loved it. They were like, it brings back memories. Like, it's not like it has the original cast, but then it has their kids in it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is like. I have to be careful because I haven't watched a lot of it, and talking about Bill and Ted's, if you don't know what you're talking about, is like talking about Jordans. If you don't know what you're talking about, you'll get destroyed.
Apparently, yeah.
It's like
okay.
It's the 80s comedy movie with Keanu and the other guy, and they did a whole. So they did the remake or the sequel this year, and from what I read, it was the consensus that people didn't like that Keanu was more like a modern Keanu. But it was also like a big commentary on his character as a whole, I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's literally what I read. Like, Keanu said, like,
Keanu alone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so tired of people picking on Keanu. Like, leave him alone.
Oh, I think he's redeemed himself. I don't think he's like
Yeah, I'm
really
pretty
picked
sure.
on at all anymore. Ever since John Wick,
Like,
because John Wick earned
John
the
Wick.
gamer
Saved him.
community. He won the internet's fame with John Wick 1 and 2, and then once 3 came out, it was like the public media was like done. We love you, Keanu.
yeah.
I want to watch this because I haven't watched the original one. I should watch it because
That would be a good watch party. If you want to do that sometime, I would be interested.
Yeah,
'cause
let's
I
do a
haven't
watch party of that.
done.
What was I gonna say? And then they specific like the Razzies for like worst actor and stuff. He won that a lot for movies. But then for John Wick, they made a new category for redemption.
Yeah, you told me that.
And then he was like, oh, now he's like a good actor again. His career is back.
He was always a good actor. People are just haters.
Constantine. I love Constantine. That is one of my top movies. That's one of my top movies. But get out of here. Okay. Give me one more good Keanu movie, Raza, and I'll switch to the next topic. Have we seen what?
The Devil's Advocate.
No.
I haven't.
With Al Pacino and him.
Oh,
it's pretty good. It
yeah.
came out in 1999.
Yeah.
I saw it when I was 12.
Yeah.
I'm just Googling these titles right now.
Saw it a long time ago. I would have to rewatch it though. Okay.
It
Sounds like
because that's all he plays.
we're having a Keanu watch night, it seems. So I'm gonna introduce the next topic as best as I can. But I'm not too familiar with it because I was getting way too hammed this weekend. We've got the Canadian streamer xQc, who I have a disdain for. He's from Quebec, so I don't think he even identifies as Canadian because they never signed our charter. So, you know, I mean, I'm just saying.
Jesus Christ, bro. Get the politics.
So,
Spicy.
Canadian streamer xQc, who is like mad popular on this platform. Everyone knows who I'm talking about if you're watching us on Twitch. If not,
I
do a
have no idea
Google.
who that is.
Right X, right Q, right C on twitch.tv. That shit will pop up and you'll see. That man will have viewers on his stream even when he isn't live. He's famous. He caused beef to go on game.
Bailey goes on with this. Why do all Twitch streamers look like a plank of wood?
For real, though.
They all look
Ninja?
like the piece of wood from Ed, Ed, and Eddie. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like Ninja looks like
What was
that.
his name?
He was planky.
Looks like
Planky.
Planky. Like when one mom showed me a picture of him, I was like, I can lift him up. I'm not even that strong.
Yeah, so this dude is like this frail ass dude is literally the definition of a streamer in his mom's basement.
I'm
Right?
a stinky boy, is what you mean.
Yeah. So I know him from watching, like, I watch a lot of Rust streamers. There's like a whole community of people that'll pop in on it, and he always causes drama, no matter what community you're in. So now, as far as I'm aware, from what I can see, is that he was banned and got hit with a DMCA strike for talking poop about the IOC, which is the Olympic Committee who plans the Olympics. And if you all noticed,
DMCA is.
DMCA.
Yeah, explain that to our audience.
Okay, audience. So DMCA, we here on the internet have to operate within certain copyright guidelines. DMCA is the organization within the states. I don't know what the DM is, but it's Copyright Association, right? So they do everything from royalties on music to putting up videos of something that is a copyrighted event. So it could be any sort of live performance, the Olympics, for example, anything like that. So in this case, if you're going to say, like, post on Twitter a photo of a football game or a photo of a boxing match, the DMCA strike is what they hit you with when they're like, hey, you can't post that because you're not the person who made that. Okay?
Right.
So that's what the Olympics did to this gentleman who's a streamer, which is already a controversial thing because people are navigating the gray lines of what we can and can't share as we're streaming here. So the man got dinged. The man got dinged. Was he talking shit about the IOC? That's what I want to clarify.
I think he was just showing clips. Showing clips, essentially.
Right. So just so you know, it's Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Oh,
DMCA.
thank you.
I knew it was a D.
Yeah.
I knew there was a digital there.
Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
You should know this, Bailey.
On October, it was on
Oh.
October 12th, 1998. Congress passed this act.
Where were you in 1998, Bailey? You should know this.
I was in Drumheller playing Warcraft 1.
Yeah, we were like 6 or 7 years old.
I ain't cutting any slack here.
Which is fun. That's weird to think like they were thinking about digital copyright in like.
They were, but at the same time, that's why it's so fucking archaic. Because there's a law from 1998.
Fucking archaic.
Well, I mean, they can always amend. They should always be amending things and like improving them as time goes on. But you're asking the government for a lot. You're lucky that it even exists in the first place.
You're right.
So.
This was, the DMCA, if you want history, DMCA, that's the big bill that was introduced when Napster existed. So when Napster came out, and they're like, oh, you can download music. We need a DMCA so that we can literally fine you and sue you if you download a product illegally.
Oh.
Yes.
Did Lars make it?
I don't think Lars did. No, I don't think Lars did.
That joke didn't land. God damn it.
I was like, I don't know what the joke is, but I'm just gonna wait for somebody to figure out the punchline.
God damn it.
But yeah, no, I don't know too much about it, but from what I do know is that he showed specifically clips from the Olympics and he was making fun of people. And I guess somebody must have reported him and then he got kiboshed. Which like he's rude and annoying, so
that's why I placed that warning earlier, because a comedian that I knew who is like a mad woke comedian did the same thing, did like voiceovers for Olympic clips. Still banned.
When I saw this come up, I literally laughed out loud because I was like, last week this is exactly what you said to us. I was like, oh, be very careful with the Olympics because you're gonna get screwed. And then since you've said that, it's been a week and literally like 12 plus creators have been caught for doing that. Like, you guys know that the Olympics are like a cult. Like, just leave it alone. Don't do it. Like, why?
That's more of a reason to go at it then.
I don't think so. I think just leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah, I would concur.
Why would you want to lose because you could lose your entire career if they take away your platform permanently. Like, good fucking luck. Yeah. You don't get to come back from that, especially Twitch, because Twitch has the most aggressive ban policy I have ever seen, where it's like, if you're banned and you make a second account, big poo-poo. If you're banned and I play with you on my Twitch, I'm banned, big poo-poo. So it's like, it's not worth fucking around with anything on Twitch. It's really not. Like, don't do it.
That's where I had a jokes argument with the boys this weekend. We're all getting hammered. The one dude's the Twitch streamer. And everyone turns to him. He's like, what do you mean you have freedom? You work for Jeffrey Bezos. I was like, holy shit. So when you relate being like on Twitch and shit, like you gotta, because the IOC has more influence over Jeffrey Bezos than any one of us on the internet does. Right? Yeah. So that's the foolishness of the situation, that you think, oh yeah, Twitch will take my side. It's like, no, are you the one cutting the $200 million check? I think not. I'm pretty sure they're going to take their side.
Exactly. Like, think about Dr. Disrespect. He completely got, like, he's gone. His platform was taken away from him. I mean, we still don't know why. I mean, every day I'm looking for an update, like, legitimately every day.
Something in a washroom during
he was given no reason. There's been no confirmation on the specific reason. There's been a lot of speculation, but there is no confirmation on the reason. But it's like, think about that. He was like one of the biggest creators and he lost like his entire platform and he's had to just kind of rebuild on other platforms. Now, luckily enough, a lot of people didn't take Twitch's side on this and he was able to come back to some degree on a different platform, but it's like, not every single creator is going to be that lucky. Like, I wouldn't mess around and I wouldn't make mistakes. And it's like, I have a lot of opinions about certain creators and certain things that they do. And
Talk your shit, Mom. Talk your shit.
I just have a really hard time feeling bad for them when they get banned and everyone's like, "Oh, they're my comfort creator and this is my favorite creator." It's like, "Yeah, but y'all watch them do things that you knew were causing outrage in the community and everybody was just like, we're just going to ignore it. We're just going to watch it happen. It'll be fine. Like they'll just stop, they'll change, it'll get better." And it's like, you didn't think that the end result was going to be to lose your platform. Like you did not think that was going to happen because Twitch has taken platforms away from women just for showing a little bit of cleavage. Okay, you thought you think that being bold enough is not going to lose your platform? Come on.
Yeah, I was thinking about this debate a lot, honestly, this week. It's funny timing because I was listening to one of the podcasts I listened to. They're also radio hosts, blah blah blah. It was them saying of like, I'm not trying to be an old man. But when you think about it, all these Twitch streamers, all of these internet personalities, like we need to figure out broadcast guidelines for them.
Yeah.
Because you don't think of it that way, but you're broadcasting information to thousands of people on a consistent basis, right? So it's this like weird in between of, yeah, everyone rallies behind it because they're an independent creator, but like, what about the line of responsibility they have that they're preaching information to thousands of people?
Yep. Beep, beep, beep. Yes.
Right?
You're on. Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Correct. That's the biggest thing is like the amount of fucking information that is spread on the fucking internet from social media creators, not just on Twitch, but Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube, on, Instagram, Twitch, or, TikTok, all these platforms, there's so much bullshit misinformation that's being spread around, and literally the quickest Google and you're like, okay, that's obviously not true. But it's like so many young people are consuming media now, and I think Twitch is such like a powerhouse platform because it's like if you're not watching YouTube, most people are on Twitch, and like giving those people the power, because you're 100% right, Bailey, giving these people the power to just like filter information through their own brains, which like what credentials do you have to filter this information and then recite it back to us. And this is why we had all the election drama and why politics is the way that it is, because it's filtering through these people who don't really have any reason to be filtering information to deliver it. Same with us. Like, we don't really have a place to filter to deliver the information. But the reality is like, at least we try our very best to make sure that we're filtering the information before it even comes out of our own mouths. But I still encourage, like, people should be Googling things that they hear. And, like, maybe not just Google it, but to check your facts.
See, well, that's because that's the key difference. Us here is, like, forget about the fact that me and Raza are educated in it, and I think you are as well in many ways. I think your accreditations afford you the same validations. But, nonetheless, we're at least willing to own up.
We're smart, but you're also smart too, so don't worry about it.
No, but his point is true. Like, you guys do have a journalistic background, so like to a degree, you guys should be able to filter things. But it's like sorry, Bailey, I don't want to cut you off, but lots of creators don't have that like responsibility. But finish saying what you're saying, Bailey.
Well, because the only added part is, I think the most honorable and the best part of it is many humans who are going through these crises, i.e. your Gabby Hannahs, are not willing to accept like, oh no, I fucked up, or oh no, I need to check those resources, or maybe I need to research more. It's the fact that they're coming out of it with their opinion being definitive without being aware that there's a larger spectrum of opinions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what's the inappropriate thing there, because then you're teaching kids, literally, and I'm not trying to be an extremist, you're like teaching people that that's okay.
Yeah,
like I can form my opinion based on my thoughts and not considering anyone else around me in society.
Yes.
Like, we spoke about this literally every podcast, speak about this, how content creators, for example, don't really face any consequence of their actions. And if someone says, Gabby Hanna says, oh, so like this is how I feel, this is what's happening, her fans are gonna listen to that, her impressionable fans. So like, we have to like figure out how to regulate these content creators to be like, okay, if you say these things, you have to understand the responsibility that comes with you saying these things, because you at the end of the day are a part of this misinformation, right?
Right.
You're still there using the platform. As much as you say, "Oh, I'm not doing it," you are still doing it. You are participating in it. You are literally a part of it all. So it's like we need to figure out a way to show these creators that there are consequences for what they say, and like
Exactly.
what happens, like you will get characters that will be an extreme because they see your view as the only right view.
Exactly. Well, and that's the biggest problem, right? Because when it comes to the internet, like you don't want to take away the freedom of speech that comes with the internet, because that's the great thing about the internet is like you can speak your mind. But I think the problem starts to become when influential people who are not educated, because all due respect, a lot of them are undereducated. Let's just be fair. Like if you dropped out of high school to become a YouTube star, like I'm sorry, but you don't have the education to be teaching children certain concepts that you probably don't understand completely yourself. But it's like, if they at least accepted the responsibility for what they were saying and like made the steps to further their education or showed that they were willing to learn from their mistakes, then it would be another situation. We would be a little bit more like, okay, well, at least there's some learning in this process. But the reality is like young people, because I've heard this from my cousins, from my mom's friends' kids, they take shit that streamers say online and they bring it to me like it's a fact. And I'm like, wait until you get to grade 11. That fact is not a real fact. Just hold on. You go ahead and think that for now, but that's not a real fact. And it's like, that's so irresponsible.
like I'm a very fortunate that my two nieces are like in high school, and they're even they know what Gabby Hanna is doing, and they're saying she's kind of fucked, man. I don't know what she's going on about.
It's messy.
Like you're like until like you're smart for actually logically thinking it and stuff. Like, it's not how humans behave. Yes, people are different, but generally speaking, humans don't behave in this way. Right. You have certain problems, but again, you don't behave in that way if you have those problems.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I won't take it down too deep a hole in this way, but that's... I don't particularly think the line should be drawn on like education levels, which I don't think is I'm not critiquing anyone here by any means. It's the ability to research. I think that's what's neglected, especially as we're entering like the quote unquote fake news era and like disseminating information. I'm using fancy words, but that's something you should be taught as a child, because now with the internet, you've got so much intake. You're being taught, here's this news article, here's that, here's the Facebook. None of these kids who are presenting you the Twitch information, no one sat them down yet and said, hey, look, man, like this is how you find out the difference. Here, you read this shit on Facebook. This is how you find out what is the truth. No one is doing that with this new generation of kids, and that's what's terrifying to me.
Well, because people get so scared. It's like even when we're talking about the vaccines, right? The amount of people that come to me with like all these conspiracy theories, from adults to young people, conspiracy theories about the vaccine, it's like, how much research did you do? Did you talk to your doctor? Did you talk to somebody who can give you the information? Did you do some research online and try and figure out, like, it's... do your own research and really truly like get to the core of the issue. Like, don't just go, okay, this streamer that I really like said that I shouldn't get vaccinated, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, but why? What was their point? What have they proven to you? Did they tell you some stupid fear-mongery stuff they get on, you know, the right-wing media or whatever, wherever? It's like, that's not true. It's crazy to me, even when adults will come to me and tell me like certain conspiracy theories, and then I'm like, okay, I know what you're talking about. That's not actually a thing, usually because I've talked about it with one of you guys, or I've Googled it and looked it up myself. And then they'll be like, well, Google it. And it's like, okay, you read the first article on the page, whichever one paid enough money to get there. So you're definitely correct. I know you know all the right information.
And like and like we're in we're in an information overload era. So like everybody has an opinion, everybody has something to say, and we don't know what's right or wrong. So when these kids who are younger than us, they see that they're influencers saying like, okay, don't get vaccinated. They don't know any different, so they're gonna be like, okay, that's my perception on this 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 topic. Having an uneducated opinion telling me what to do. So, and that is why Darwinism comes up in conversation now, because we're gonna see a lot of people, you know, pass on because of their stupid decisions.
Well,
and think beyond this scope.
You're right, but I think there's also there's this like animosity built up around information, right? Like whoever has whatever information, like it's a competition of who's smarter than who, right? And even with the vaccine thing, like I know I've talked about it with you guys personally. I've expressed my concerns and stuff like that. But after speaking with you guys, after seeing what I saw online, what I watched on TV, whatever, whoever, I've spoke to multiple different people about things. I had my own reservations. I'm a human being. Of course, I'm going to have a moment where I'm like, okay, what is this really? And I made the educated decision to speak to my doctor about it. I went to the person who I know could give me the advice that I needed and be that final decision. So it's like, there's nothing wrong with having a multitude of conversations to try to understand whatever it is. But people need to stop thinking like, oh, okay, these people are right because they think everybody's stupid for not believing their opinion. Well, it's like, you can disagree and still be intellectual. Like, just fact check yourself. It's not hard to just to bounce ideas off people. And that's the big thing too, is like, why is everyone stupid for not knowing something? You're not stupid for not knowing something. How often do I sit down with you guys and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I can still have an educated opinion because I'm asking the right questions and I'm trying to understand. That's what it takes, trying to understand and form an educated opinion.
Or there's me who like talks out of my ass all the time. And sounds smart because why, Mom? Use big words and they'll believe you.
I mean, you're right.
What Billy does.
Well, you use big words, but you that's the key point of like, you got a good joke. But it's like the humbleness, because you use the big words, but then you're like, yo, Raza, you're actually being a dumb fuck. Me and you, or yo, Bailey, you're being a fucking pompous asshole, which y'all have done often. And I'll go, okay, yeah, you're right. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have made that comment. Or maybe, oh, cool, that's a good point. You know? It's when Wine Mom makes that valid point, is like, you're a fucking idiot for being wrong. Or you're a fucking idiot for not knowing this. Like, we can't have discourse if it means you're a dumbass for not being aware of the same facts as the other person you're trying to have a conversation with. It's fucking ridiculous.
And to piggyback off of, because Bailey's right about this, but like to piggyback off of that is like, nobody wants to be wrong, right? Nobody wants to be like, oh, you know what you're talking about? Here's 400 resources or sources that I got on you, right? especially on Twitter, because I've seen this discourse happen on Twitter. People hate being proven wrong, and then they source like 50 articles all from their perception or their realm of information, which sort of like defeats the purpose of discourse, because then you're just speaking into an echo chamber.
Well, exactly. And it's like, I encourage people to look at the people you surround yourself with. If every time you ask a question, you're met with a response of why you're so stupid, why don't you know that? That's a problem, you know, because as being part of being a person and being an adult and being, you know, like a conscious being, is having communication with people that sometimes know things that you don't. Like, I am by no means a fucking genius, but I know that I have things that I can teach you guys, and I know there's things that you guys can teach me. And I don't think that you're stupid for not knowing what I know. Like, I took a different career path. I have knowledge in things you guys will be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And vice versa. And I don't think that should equate to the difference of intelligence. Like, share that with me. We should be sharing this information.
Yeah, it's just like when okay, so I'm a Twitter boy, and
Yeah.
like I see the stuff firsthand. So like when people say, "Oh, like the rarity, the rare time I see, oh, I did not know about this. Do you mind sharing some
Hmm.
information?" All of the internet implodes on itself
Oh
because
yeah.
it's just like the internet doesn't understand that human beings are I don't know if I'm using this right, but like we learn. We don't
Yes.
pick up things. We have to learn things. And the moment where we have to address our species and like what we are capable of, we don't know what to do. We're like, uh, here's a meme insulting you. This is what I
Right.
mean. But it's just we don't understand what happens or like how to share knowledge to somebody asking us because half the
Right.
time we feel that person is being like facetious or like, oh, you just want to learn this to pull
Right.
in my argument, and I'm just like, no, I want to know why
Hmm.
you think the Holocaust didn't happen and stuff like
It's
that.
true. It's true.
Yeah,
It's a superiority complex. And it's
yeah.
funny because, in my previous job, you guys know I worked in a salon, and I worked under the owner of the salon who's been doing hair literally since he was 16, and then I worked alongside another girl who's been doing hair for probably 7 years. And the difference in response to like sharing information between the two of them was always so crazy to me. She was not receptive to anything I had to say. I knew nothing. She knew everything better than me. I was a big dumb idiot. But my boss would constantly say to me, like a very well, like 30-year plus educated hairstylist who has no business asking me for help, was like, how do I do this thing that you're better at doing than I am because I want to get as good as you? And
Mhm.
that's important, being a senior person or even whatever level you are, but being humble enough to go, I want to learn what you know. You want to improve your skill. You want to be better, whatever it may be, whether it's physical or a mental skill. You want to learn. So it's like, humble yourself. It doesn't mean you're
Oh yeah.
stupid. You're exchanging knowledge. I mean, I ask you guys for help all the time because I'm literally like, I'm stupid. I have no idea what's going on. Somebody help me. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm. No, it's
Oh,
like
Yeah.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And people just don't like sharing knowledge. That's what we don't
yes.
like to do.
Yes.
And like so and then the other side is just like when we want to critique, especially on Twitter, when we want to critique somebody, pause this, but they usually put their platform behind a paywall. So when they say people who agree with me, you have this information for free. But then
Yeah.
when you want to criticize me, you gotta pay. You gotta bring up a little money. So that also sort of like kind of hurts debates and discourse
Hmm.
where we don't like a lot of right wing are doing this now, but like if you want to critique my point, you have to pay. So
Right.
like now people are taking everything for face value because they don't want to get deeper into it. We're getting lazier and stuff. So it's just we as humans are going towards our own little corners of the internet and being like, we agree. I'm doing that. I'm going with like the leftist community. Like we're going with our echo chambers, and then we think what we're saying is right, just because these people agree with us. Same with these other people on the other corner and stuff like that. So it's just like no, and people generally do not want to talk to one another. We are just mean to everybody.
Yeah, you bring up a
Right.
good point. I was thinking about that critically because we talk about this era defining facts. It's like we brought it up before that it relates to the historical period of like yellow journalism, which is like when
Mhm.
newspapers were first created, when writing was first made. How did you say like this is the truth? Because you could write whatever the fuck you wanted in the newspaper, right?
Mhm.
We're in the same situation, but what's more scary is as you're saying that everyone's going to their individual corners. How are you going to get all of these sides in the same room to say like, no,
You
here are the
can't.
new rules. Here's the new DMCA. You know, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Oh, he tied it
That's what
back.
scares
Oh.
me.
Um,
So when we're sitting here, and yeah, exactly. Thank you, Raza.
yeah.
When we're sitting here and we're talking about our homies on the fucking Twitch streams, how do we all collectively go like, oh, this is the guideline, you know, like this is what we agree on? Because fucking xQc, man, you that man hops in a group chat with us, we're about to fucking implode. Me and Wine Mom would probably start yelling by the end of it.
Yeah.
You know,
I would be like, I just want to get. I don't even. Ironically enough, out of the three of us, I am the gamer one, and I know like some stuff of his, but I did not know he's toxic. So like, it's just like to Bailey's point, I think that ship has sailed. And that sounds very pessimistic of me, but like you can't, because people are so staunch in their views. Like, I'm staunch in my views. You have pretty powerful views that you are immovable on. So like, if you want to talk about bringing people to get like to that middle ground, you have to like break that like stubbornness in people. You have to be like, hey, maybe you're wrong. Here's some new information. They'd be like, well, here's 20 sources.
Yeah.
And shit like that. So people want to one-up you, and if somebody, because we have an ego problem, and now we're going to get super philosophical. No, but no, we have an ego problem, and we hate being wrong. So it's hard to like tell us to meet on a common ground when we think we're right initially. How do you make us think we're wrong? That's the question.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, it's a hard one, because I think it really just comes down to maturity, and I feel like that circles back to my original point, where it's like we're looking for people who like they don't have, I mean, I know that it's not always about education, but they don't have they don't have the education is the reality. And they don't have the ability to go, okay, it's okay to make mistakes and to be wrong and like learn and correct myself. Because not only is that a thing, but we also don't have anyone on social media. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't believe that there's really, even in people that I really like, I don't think anybody on this platform has ever truly come forward and been like, look, I made a mistake, let me correct it. Because it's always, I made a mistake, but. It's never, I made a mistake, I want to do better, let's improve, like, let's educate each other, let's have it, you know, an informed decision-making process. It just doesn't happen, because if you come out and you say I'm wrong, like, it's admitting defeat that most people don't want to. So with this kid, he's never like, forget it. Don't even bother with him anymore at this point. If you want to absorb incorrect information and just like surround yourself with bullshit, then he is your streamer. But if you want to get out of that and you want to become, you know, an educated adult, which I feel like everybody should want to at some point in their lives become an educated adult, look the fuck elsewhere, because he's going to be what he is unless there is an external force that's determining whether you can continue to behave that way or not.
Okay, so my summary, Raza, you summarize after.
I'm done. It's fine. Go.
My personal bias is I feel like we expressed good overall thoughts, so it's like y'all are the best. Thanks. Similar to the influencers we're talking about, the T channels with David Dobrik and Trisha and all that. I think with the streamers, the same bias happens. The same naivete happens. Of all of a sudden, you've got, I think, the reverse of what we just discussed. The streamer themselves or the YouTuber themselves all of a sudden creates this false reality because they've got hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people in this case, saying, no, you're right. No, yo, bro, I love you, bro. Yo, bro, I love you, bro. So then all of a sudden you're going to be like, yeah, I could take on the fucking Olympics, dog. It's like, yo, you don't understand the different scales of operation here. Like, you've blown your ego up so large, you think your fucking piddly video games compared to the impact of the Olympics moving countries.
Again, it's an echo chamber.
Yeah. Like, so the distortion is so extreme. That's what scares me about it. That's my summary of my thoughts on it. Of like, collectively, all the thoughts, the great points you made is, it terrifies me of how extreme this situation has gotten to the point now that a streamer sitting here like, yeah, I could take on the fucking Olympics. It's like, no, you good try. Go ahead, bud.
His lawyers are saying yes. What's
Yeah.
his name again?
Yep.
xQc.
Video
Yes,
game
xQc.
lawyer.
Yeah. Sue him, and he's like, I now have a person who has a bar degree or a lawyer saying I can do this. And then I actually asked my cat. So Raza's privileged enough to have a lawyer in his family, so he asked his lawyer cousin, and then she said, I shit you not, she sent me the 3 emojis of the crying and laughing one, and that's all.
Yep.
And then I said, so it won't work. She's like, no, LMFAO. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Just all right, cool, whatever. So yeah, apparently this lawyer is like feeding into his like ego. Be like, yeah, bro, do him, bro.
Yeah.
IOC can't touch you, fam. You're in Quebec. Whoa.
Side rant. I know the fucking Arabic came out there. Jesus, dog.
Feeling his responses today.
But so, Wine Mom, prepare.
I gotta go
now. Wine Mom, if you're prepared, I'm ready to move on. If you're interested, we're gonna go to Am I the Asshole? And you go.
I had one, but do you have in?
I'm gonna open the link from you, Raza. Hold on. I didn't get a chance, so I just gotta pull it up.
Oh, no worries.
It correlates with what Gabby Hanna was doing, so I thought.
Oh, it was perfect! I love that. I'm excited.
Very interesting.
Because then when it comes to those DMCA things too, it's shit is like those lawyers. They try to these kids, blah blah blah. They're getting finessed. The lawyer's a drug dealer. The lawyer's in there being like, yo, yeah, you good, bro. Yeah, we gonna be fine. But, like, you gotta give me my $1,000 an hour. But, like, you fine, dog. Like, you good. Fine, but where's my money? Yeah. Where's my money? But you're good, man. And we're gonna fight the Olympics. But you gave me my paycheck, right? Like,
so, Bailey, when we become big, I beg you to not get a hype man as a lawyer, right?
I mean...
We're not doing
that.
I
think I would let you get away with anything like that? Come on.
No. Like, yo, Bailey, I found this lawyer. I got him at the back of the Yellow Pages. He only charges 20 bottle caps. Is that good enough?
Yeah. It's a fine print, 20 bottle caps upon first visit, and after that, $20,000, please.
Exactly.
I'm only a divorce lawyer. I'm actually practice law.
Right. Okay, so should I move forward?
Yeah, okay. Move forward.
So I can read the title of this one because I feel like it's not really going to ruin the story. It's kind of like a precursor. Okay. So it's am I the asshole for calling my friend out after she ruined our group's game night?
Okay.
So my friend and I had a falling out because of our most recent games night. She has been diagnosed with ADHD, and I too have ADHD as well as depression. She's well aware of this. Ever since her diagnosis, it's been brought up in almost every conversation we have, and she tries to use it as an excuse for her behavior at times. Last night, a group of our friends, 5 of us, were going to have a game night. We all agreed that we would meet at her place at 8 p.m. Well, we were all there at 8 p.m., and she wasn't home. So after 30 minutes of texting and calling, no replies, we all went home. Around 10 p.m., she's posting on Instagram that she's at a bar with her coworkers. Mind you, she still hasn't responded to any of us. This made us all upset. Eventually, when she texted us back, we asked why she didn't tell us she had other plans. She played it off, oh, my ADHD made me forget, so I went to do something else, lol. Well, and for some reason that set me off. I told her it's not fair that she thinks she can keep getting away with stuff like this and just the excuse to be her ADHD. She then said that I should be more understanding because I have ADHD as well. I told her she's being selfish and that just because she has ADHD doesn't mean she can do whatever she wants and get away with it. My other friends told me I was being mean and she cannot control it. And now I just feel awful. Am I the asshole?
Bailey, you first.
I am being super woke, but the one writing the story is the asshole, but it's just because they chose to use bad words. The person with the ADHD is still also an asshole, but I think they both deserve an asshole award. Because it's okay for them to be forgetful and make that mistake, but then, yeah, you can't laugh it off and go, ha. But you're also putting them, like, the friend was accusing them immediately. Like, the friend was immediately like, oh, this is your fault. You fucked off on us. So, like, that's also very toxic because you're immediately putting them in a defensive state, you know? So it's not even in like a super woke of like, oh, you got to cater to all their needs. It's also at the same time of like, you afforded zero room for that person to explain, to be like, yo, by the way, da da da. But at the same time, the person with the ADHD shouldn't have just laughed it off with a haha. They should have also recognized how they impacted their friends, because part of dealing with your own diagnoses effectively is also acknowledging how it affects others.
Yeah.
I think, I'm gonna sound like an asshole here, but I think her friend is kind of an asshole because you shouldn't be using your disability as an excuse. So that's what I think personally. I use my stutter as an excuse and my race as an excuse. So I think that like it sort of like makes, I said this before, it ruins everything for people who have ADHD who are trying to live normal lives. So and is being forgetful a thing with ADHD people?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So see, I do understand where she's coming from. If the person just said, "Hey, I screwed up," blah blah, then I would be like, "Okay, your friend is being the asshole. You're not, because you forgot." But to say, "Oh, it's my ADHD-ness," and laughing it off like it's nothing. Like her friend clearly understands that it's something more. So like I think using your disability as an excuse is a lame attempt to justify yourself.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That's tough to expand. I don't mind that consensus.
I think I like where Roz is going. I think that the girl who, like, the part they were supposed to go to her place, and she's the friend, not the one who wrote the story. The friend is 100% the asshole, and I think this for one specific reason is, as someone with ADHD, to go to another person with ADHD and be like, well, you get it, like, we just make these problems, is extremely dismissive of, one, everybody else's criticism, two, the work that other person did in order to change the way that they respond to things, but also the person who showed up on time to the other girl's house had ADHD. So forgetting and tardiness or whatever she wants to perpetuate is not something that she should be looking for relatability with that friend, because that's obviously not true. Like, as someone with ADHD who literally forgets fucking everything, I show up. If I'm needed or I gotta be somewhere, like, I'm there. And it's something so simple as, like, keeping yourself on schedule, whether you use timers or you're writing things down and stuff like that. I feel like, and this is surmising from outside the situation and just going based off the information that I have and not the full story, because obviously there's more to the story, but it seems like there was two options: game night with your friends or get drunk with your coworkers. And getting drunk with your coworkers sounded like more fun, and then they had forgotten about their original plans, and then when confronted, they chose to ignore it and then go, oh, well, I have ADHD, it's just we do. That's not fair.
No, I agree. I agree. It's that weird twist of the tables now that seems to happen in society, where because I have a diagnosis, you must cater to me exponentially, but I have no responsibility to cater to your needs.
And that's the big thing, is she's like, oh, well, I have ADHD, you of all people should understand this. To somebody else with ADHD who's like, yeah, I have fucking ADHD, I don't do these things, this is not something I need to understand, this is something that you yourself need to work on. Especially for me, as somebody, like, when I say I have alarms in my phone to remind me of literally everything, I am not joking. Like I need to be reminded of things because I literally forget everything. And I've worked really hard to create like a routine. If I wasn't sitting down with you guys every single Monday to do this show, I would forget. If it was like, oh, we'll just see you once a month, you guys won't see me. I will forget. I will not remember. But because I've created, it's true. But because I've created a routine, I know, okay, I'm going to sit down with Raza every single Monday at 7 p.m. So now I know every single Monday I have to be at my computer for 7 p.m. No ifs, and or buts. This is my routine. This is what I'm doing. So that's like, for me, that's how I work on like my little things. So I think everybody needs to work on their little ADHD things with, you know, assuming you have ADHD, you should be working on dealing with your behavior and dismissing it.
I concur.
And also, like, no one's ADHD is the same, right? We all, like, people different. Like, it's all different. Like, I don't have it, so I'm literally talking from like, from what I've seen, right? So like, I have friends who have the same thing going on, and they literally have reminders on their notebooks, everything, but like they need to do this, and they're more organized than me. And so like when I see that, I'm like, holy shit, bro! Like I wish I had that, and they're like, no, man, you don't. You don't. Like, okay.
You overcompensate, right? Because you don't know how many times I have missed very important things for my friends. And like that has been very hard for me. And I've never been like, oh well, you know, I got problems. Instead, like, I'm so sorry, this will never happen again. But also, I've made I personally, with quite a few of my friends, like, and I've said this to you guys before. I'm like, you need to remind me. Literally today, I texted Bailey and I was like, I need to ask you about something later. Don't let me forget. Because if I don't say something to somebody about it in the moment that I'm thinking it, it's gone. It's like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Like, it's gone from my brain. So I do things, right? Like Bailey writes it down. Like you do things to like trigger your memory. Because sometimes I write things down and I never go back to the thing I wrote down, but I remember because I wrote it down. It's the same thing like when I lose my keys or I lose items. Do you know how many times I've been cleaning something and I'm like, I have no idea where this item is. When I find it later, I always audibly out loud say to myself, Lily, you put this, but I always say, like, Lily, you put your phone on the table. Okay, Lily, you remember you put the phone on the table? Okay, then I can walk away and I'll remember because I've reiterated it to myself and I'll remember to go back to the phone. It's like it's embarrassing, but these are habits that I've had to pick up in order to like maintain functionality.
No, I agree. My most simple one, you go, Raza. My most simple one is I got the granny things for my glasses because every time I took my glasses off, I fucking lost them. So it's like, all right, I'm being an old man. They're stuck to my head now.
That's a vibe, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Your granny string is a vibe. It's good.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh yeah, like I have friends again who have ADHD, and they're like, oh, I'm forgetful, and I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, no, brother, you just smoke a lot of weed, and it's like, that can help. That's it. That's it.
Well, and then me and Bailey both smoke a lot of fucking weed, so I just
no, because like mine, like I am forgetful. Like you guys actually have systems. Like in place in it. I just flat out tear. Like last night, I lost my headphones and I tore up like my room looking for it because I don't know where they are. Like if I lose something, I will destroy the house to look for it and stuff. Y'all have systems where you can just write it down, put mental notes and stuff. I'm just like, where did I put my keys? And I spent 4 hours looking for this shit. And I'm lazy. That's just me.
Use my trick. Use my trick. When you put something down in a place that's like trying to just get it out of your hand, just remind yourself you put it there. And I promise you, if you say out loud, Raza, you put your headphones on your computer desk. You will never forget them again. I can almost promise you that. It's worked for a lot of people.
I'll try. Yeah, you're supposed to look like mentally.
Yeah, it's my favorite little trick. It works really well. It's how I remember to put gas in my car too.
Yeah, yo. my partner, it's on topic too. Is like my partner found this fucking wild product that I was like, that might be good. I was like,
Yeah.
it's like a charm bracelet you get, and you leave the little charms around the house, so that it's like you turn your oven on, and you take it and you slap it on your wrist. So then all of a sudden it's like your oven is on. It's like, oh, your phone is on the desk. Like, oh, okay, you gotta turn off the AC. It's like, that's actually kind of smart. You just have that like physical thing you gotta remind yourself with. I like that idea.
Yeah.
But no, okay.
That's why I write everything down and have sticky notes everywhere.
Yeah. And then like one time I was helping my dad look for his glasses, and we spent all night, and they were just dangling his neck.
Yep.
That's why I switched to the chain. I'm the head guy, so I put it in my hair, and then I'm like, where the fuck are my glasses? And they're on my head for 20 minutes.
Yep.
Oh my god, last summer I went for a walk, and I had a J-ski in my ear and stuff, and I spent a good 20 minutes tearing up my room looking for it, and then I have a mirror like just going out of like on my door, and it's like, what the fuck is this? I rolled a new one, by the way, because I was like, I gave up. I was just like, I spent 20 minutes looking for you, and you were in my ear the entire time.
Jays.
Oh my gosh.
Jays. Okay, if you guys are cozy, you go to a summarizing here. I think we had a good constructive discussion. I liked our ADHD summaries, and I feel like we got real personal there. Do you feel the same?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Okay, so thank you, humans, for watching. We appreciate you for stopping out. Once again, we've got one visitor. I'm so curious who this is. There's always one person creeping in, but we appreciate you. So, without further ado, you can catch us next week. We'll be on every Monday at 7 p.m. We stream on Fridays at 9 p.m. on the Twitches. You can also catch the edited versions on YouTube. I don't think Wine Mom has a shout out yet. And we've got Raza over here. You can find me on Instagram at gnarly_media, blah, 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 in the description. I'm tired of doing this one. Y'all know this one. We got Raza, who's playing video games. You can find his bad video game articles on the internet.
These are so annoying, God damn it, Jesus Christ.
And there you go. That's the introduction. Raza, you got any shout-outs real quick? Otherwise, I'm fucking ending it.
Somebody, please give me a PS5.
Oh my gosh.
Sold out everywhere. Please.
Patreon to come soon. If you want to send us a PS5, send us a PS5.
I have the money for it. Just send me one. I can give you the...
Oh my gosh.
I got you. We'll do that. We'll do that. Okay, fam, thank you for watching. Send us a PS5. That's what we need. It will help our careers. It's definitely not for personal use. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh my gosh.
You can say it both.
Chat time. Chat time.
Dun, 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 dun.
I really gotta pee. I was fucking